Well, hello everybody again. Welcome to the 1860 Club, and today we have one of the legends of the club, David Robinson. Welcome, David.
Thanks, Lee.
David is a legend because he appears on the all-time greats in the context of just about doing everything in the club. He played 218 games, but in fact may have been a few more than that. So he's number 2 on the all-time list. He was assistant secretary, president. He's captained every side, every 11 in the club. Premiership player twice for the first, 73-74 and 91-92, which was the championship, and captained the fourth to a premiership. Dave, that's one hell of a record.
Yeah, well, it was a long time in the making.
How did you get to Preston, Dave?
Well, joined Preston as a 14-year-old, came from East Coburg Presbyterian Cricket Club. Down behind the Coburg bars there was the home ground.
Mm-hmm.
Ride the same year with a colleague from East Coburg, Trevor Staples. We both came down together. We'd both gone from primary school to Preston Tech. So with East Coburg not having under 16s, we then decided to move to Preston together. And
during the course of the season, you in fact played in the seniors, and
mm-hmm.
got a game, didn't you, when you were under 16 in the ones?
Yes. Someone very similar to you, Lee, decided to take miss one game after Christmas, so the vacancy came available in the one. So I took that opportunity, and you came back and decided to pull rank and take back over the position I had in the ones.
You played under the great Jack Potter then.
Yeah.
So back in those days, you were a wicket keeper and a high order batsman.
Mm-hmm. Well, most of the time, even junior cricket was wicket keeping and opening the batting.
Mm-hmm. So opening the batting, it stuck with you for a hell of a long time. Probably the toughest gig in cricket, I reckon, is opening the batting.
Well, particularly when you had Lee Cooper blocking you in the ones, the only way you get in there was bypass him and go into another position. So I couldn't shoot him or anything, so I had to find out another way to get into the ones. That was open the batting at Preston. So
I think the following year you established yourself as a permanent member of the team, and
mm-hmm.
It was a pretty solid team under Dick, and Dave Jeffrey came along, Eddie, and there were so many really good players, Pusher as well. 73-74, you played in the Premiership team,
mm-hmm.
had a very good season. What's your recollections of that year?
Well, actually, the most vivid one is the actual final at Coburg, because we were certainly the underdogs playing against Malvern, and Malvern had a very strong batting lineup. We certainly got on top. Well, they got on top of us fairly early, because I think we batted first.
Yeah.
And opened with the other famous legend at Preston, Dave Norris. And it had been raining, and there was a bit of a sporting wicket to start off with. We were both back in the pavilion fairly soon after. We were 2 for not many, but the wicket did flatten out fairly quickly, even though it had a bit of moisture in it. But it then played better as the day went on, and someone came in at number 3 or 4, looked similar to you, Lee, and made a good 80-odd, which was probably the turning point and the match-winning part of the game for us. But that was the challenge then the next day, was while the wicket had flattened down, there wasn't a lot in it, and Malvern were backing themselves to be the stronger batting lineup and would cruise to victory. But undaunted, early wickets put a lot of pressure on them, and their middle order batsmen had made a lot of runs that year. I think it was Graham Marr came out to bat, and picked him up and caught him at gully off Dave Jeffrey, with one that bounced up and managed to hang on to it, and that certainly turned the game when they were 5 for would have said 40 or 50, and then were able to roll them and win that premiership.
Long time ago. I have vivid memories of that catch you took.
I would say it was one of the better ones.
You made a lot of runs consistently over the years, Dave. What was your approach to batting, particularly as an opener?
make as many runs as you can when you're not playing at Preston, because there's always going to be a green top and there was always going to be something in it for the bowlers. So anything you got over 20 was going to be a bonus.
Did the outfield suit your style of play?
Probably fielding it was okay because you didn't have to run far to go get the ball when it was hit. So you could chase the ball down and got a few runouts by chasing the ball down quickly. And then the batsman thought that was an easy two, and then catching them halfway back down because the ball had pulled up and throwing it back over the stumps to you to get the run out.
Well, we went through the 70s, never quite got into being contention again, but
next year we were in.
Yeah, we got beaten in the grand final.
At Alstonwick.
Yes. We don't like to talk about that game too much because it was one of the worst wickets of all time, and I think Dave Jeffrey broke down in his first over.
Well, I haven't seen Gary Moore a couple of times. Because blame him that he was at short leg. It was a ball that was hit straight at him. Routine for a short leg. He put it down. Dave Jeffries called him all sorts of names, and then that caused him to strain his leg, and so it was wicket lost and lost our best bowler, and it was Ormond's best batsman. So it was a trifecta.
You finished up at the end of the 70s. You were captain for 1 year when Wayne Robinson was coach. What's your recollections?
Well, it was probably the one thing that came out of that is that there was not a lot of expectation. We didn't have a real strong team, but we actually started to give some opportunities for some younger ones because and there was likes of Phil Jobling, I think even Dale Carpenter around that time. So that flooded them into the one. So, and there was probably one or two others that had more opportunity than they would have had if we had a far stronger team, and that probably set it up, better for the club in the longer run.
1980-81, you were in the first all year and then lost your spot just prior to the finals, but you had good fortune. The seconds went on to win the Premiership and the Championship.
Yep, win the Championship, yep.
How did you go in that game?
Well, actually, the final series actually had quite a good series. It batted 4 times, batted once in the semi-final, once in the group final against Geelong on a sporting wicket, and then twice in the, because of the 3-day final, we played Croydon at Mount Waverley. So went through all those games without a bowler getting my wicket. I was run out 3 times and not out once. So it then treat that the championship we won because it was Graham Winter was batting with in the first innings, and it was a little bit dicey with the wicket, but we were starting to turn it around, and there was a little bit of a dicey call with her, and I managed to get run out. So then he was saying, sorry, it was a bad. I said, well, there's one way for you to prove it. Don't get out, make runs. So he did, and he made over 100. So
wow.
I think it was about 117 he made, which really then set us up for winning of the game.
Well, you must have taken a lot of confidence out of finishing the season, because the next year you had a ripper of a season. Do you remember that?
Do you remember the year? Is that I think it would have been Killer's first year, and certainly there was a couple of just minor techniques. Killer was actually a good technique coach, and without major changes, just tweaking a few things. Again, it's a bit of a mind game as well with cricket, but it just seemed to click. And once you had the confidence, then it all came together. And without doubt, the best year that they had in the ones. I remember Eddie saying at the beginning of we played 2 games. We played against Altona, who got a 50 in the first game, and then we're playing Coburg. Got washed out sort of part way through and was about 45 not out. We were 1 or 2 for close to 100 at Coburg, which was a good start. And then Eddie said, if the year's washed out for the rest of the year, he was going to put the money on me for the RM Hatch medal. So I had to be the front runner, the early leader on the RM Hatch medal after 2 rounds. The rest of the year was washed out. That was it.
Did he put money on you? Or was he just...
No, we ended up playing out the season. So didn't continue in that high level all through the season.
Now, you played under Killer for the next 4 or 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
An extraordinarily strong team that you had through there. What's your recollections of that team, which it actually climaxed winning a championship 91-92, but right through that period was almost a golden era, wasn't it? For the club?
Yeah. But I still think, you know, the time was seen as a, you know, almost could have been because we were always managing to fall over in finals became a challenge. But I think throughout that time, and things changed later with the sub-district with wicket preparation. It was the time when they moved to Saturday, Sunday games. Mm-hmm. And a lot of the wickets just weren't suitable for whoever won the vast majority of times, whoever won the toss had a big advantage. And one thing, say with Keller, is that he didn't win a lot of those tosses during those critical times. But with a bit of extra luck, and luck came into it, I think it could have been a more successful time.
You had a very strong side.
Yeah.
With all bases sort of covered, really, didn't you? You batted deep, had great bowlers, and obviously were a very good fielding side as well.
So that was probably the strongest batting era of the club, because all the time at Preston was that it was always well renowned for its bowling strengths.
Yes. So you would have batted with the great man Rohan for
yes,
a number of years.
Yes. And we I think enjoyed batting together.
You kept him on his toes with the quick single.
Well, yeah, someone had to.
What's your recollections of the championship 91-92? And how did you feature in that?
Well, it was interesting because it was also Ravi Ratnayaka's first year, and certainly Ravi added an extra dimension to the team without really being truly outstanding through the year. It was a good performance. It wasn't saying it was poor by any stretch of the imagination, but Ravi would just blended into the team exceedingly well. And then we came out to the championship final and against Box Hill. Again, first morning or the first day, and Hobbs has won the toss and we're batting, and Box Hill had their gun player for that year was Ian Callum was playing. So gone out, opened the batting with Ravi, and he said, "Oh, I'll take strike." Because then Ravi said, "What's he bowl? What his bowling swing is it?" "I've got no idea. I've never faced him before." So it was then, well, let's see how we go. So he was fairly fired up, and because he would just come up, international playing the year before, so he was still a little bit on the pacey side. But for good luck and good management, we got through. We were none down just before tea when I got out, so we're about 90 odd at tea. And then Ravi batted through most of the final session. We had a little bit of a collapse, but then piled on some very good runs the next towards the end of the day, and got us a score which was going to take a lot of beating or good batting performance from Box Hill to beat us. So in the end, we won it fairly comfortably.